you have to do research for the military aspect, or you're already kind of into that stuff?
One of the things I do is that I'm not going to suddenly go and read a million books about this war or this, that. I'm going to pull out all my favorite war movies.
Okay.
And I'm just going to soak in them. And you know what? If there are tropes and things that are wrong in those war movies, they're going to get into my book. If I'm not going to read books about the law, you know why? Because you don't want to read books about the law. You want a comic book.
Right.
So I'm going to go and I'm going to watch all this Perry Mason, and I'm going to watch, I'm going to watch stuff like, oh God, I got all these law movies. I got Paper Chase.
Legal
and
Eagles?
No, Absence of Malice. Even things like To Kill a Mockingbird.
Right.
Just to watch all these like court case Mutiny on the Bounty. No, K Mutiny. Sorry, that would be a completely different Shield story. That would just be horrible. Mr. Christian, don't make me angry. It would be weird. And I'll soak that in too, and I'll make all the same mistakes they're making. I'll make all the mistakes they're making on The Practice, all the mistakes they're making on Boston Legal, because you know what? You're not reading a law book. And I've got like 2 or 3 She-Hulk fans that are lawyers who constantly private message me and constantly write to me and go, it wouldn't happen like that. That's not the way that law works. That course would take 6 months to go to trial. I don't care.
They'd never put Matt Murdock in general population.
Exactly. And my take is there have been all these Marvel laws that are passed that you don't know about, Real World Lawyer, that allow me precedent. See this issue of Daredevil where he fought Submariner and he tried to sue the Surface World? There's a court case in the Marvel Universe, Namor v. Surface World. And it's not in your Real World law book. It's in my Marvel law book. So I can do whatever the hell I please. As long as it's an interesting story and it adheres to some kind of logic. If it doesn't take into account some weird legal precedent that you know about, it's a comic book.
All right. Well,
Same thing, The Initiative, it's a war book. But hopefully it'll be like, did you read the Larry Hama G.I. Joes when you were young?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Weren't those great?
Yes, they were.
When in issue 2 I needed bad guys, and I just pull out Hydra, because Hydra is short for Cobra. So like, I have a page of issue 2. Where did I put it? It is so nifty. You can see it way ahead of time. Because hey, it's issue 2. There we go. All these Hydra ships. Oh no, and a mothership. Oh no, and they're right over Crawford, Texas, and Bush's Ranch. Oh no. But look. Hey, it's the Texas Rangers from the 28th state. It's that initiative.
How much fun was it coming up with names for all the 50 teams?
No, but see, I think that's the last thing we should do.
Oh, so it's not even all planned, there's no master sheet somewhere of everything all planned out yet?
I really don't think you should do that, because then you lock in characters to states.
Okay.
That as we see a state, we'll see the team. I don't think we should have a master list. And also, I think there should be way more fun to create some new characters. I'm getting kind of tired of people just culling the Marvel Universe for characters to kill.
Right.
Because every character is somebody's favorite. And my take is, if there should be a kind of conservation of character rule, that if you have the balls to kill a character that someone else wrote, and there's 70 issues of that character lying around, then let's see if you can make a character that's as good as that character and bring them into the Marvel Universe.
I like that rule. It seemed that for a while there was, I don't want to say a stagnation, but there weren't like new Marvel characters being created. And when you talked about it, people seem to say, oh, that's because like all the creators want to save their new characters, create creator-owned books. But now there seems to be Runaways, Young Avengers, Initiative.
Isn't Runaways great?
Yes, it is. But there seems to be a lot of new characters now, just kind of starting to sprout up.
It's fun. When you were a kid, didn't you write them all in your notebook and hoping someday you could write a comic and stick in your guys? And suddenly you're like, I've been doing that from day one since I've jumped back into Marvel. So it's like you'll see Southpaw showing up, and you'll see, like, oh, I had so much fun on the thing with it's Shock Jock, it's Cauldron, the Scalding Man. there was one guy who kept writing me these notes. Every time I'd bring in a new character, this one guy on CBR, he'd be like, that's the corniest name. That's the stupidest name. Why are you doing that? And my take is, what is wrong with Cauldron the Scalding, man? It's like, I think it's really unfair. I think so many of these characters that are floating around in comics, they're characters that we've been living with for, oh, did you see that? Oh, like,
I don't know if we picked that up or not.
There's so many characters that have been floating around for 40 to 60 years that we've gotten used to them, and they're in our system. Mm-hmm. But if you could suddenly take a Magic Etch-a-Sketch and shake them out of existence and introduce them today,
right,
and put them in a brand new book, and you've never heard of this character before. He's called Doc Ock, Dr. Octopus.
Right,
he's a fat guy with glasses, and he's got 4 pipe cleaners coming out of his back, and he'll attack you with them. If you put that out today, and you didn't have love for Doc Ock already, that character would be laughed off the face of the earth. And that's wrong. The people who laugh at Doc Ock, they would be wrong, because that's a great character. It's totally cool to have, and the characters I don't like that weren't like back in the 90s when everyone started making new characters, and it felt like they were grabbing a thesaurus and sticking any 2 words together, Hawk, Wolf, Blood, Strike, Moon.
And then putting a leather jacket on them.
And claws. And a flappy cape. A big flappy cape that's 16 feet long. Yeah. And they all looked like Night Watcher Spawn.
Right.
They all...
Lots of chains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on? And it's like, I got to give Tom DeFalco props. When he'd introduce concepts, he'd try to introduce them the way Marvel would introduce characters in the 60s. Would be like, he's like a Spider-Man. You know?
Right.
We'll call him Spider-Man. You know, that's the way it would be. But then you get to the 90s, and you get these ludicrous scenes in DeFalco books, which I love, where you'd have a newspaper reporter going, who are these brave new warriors? The new warriors, that's what we'll
These
call
Avengers sure look young.
Yeah. We'll call it. And you'd have to go through these leaps and jumps, and that's why I'm so much more fond of, like, it's the cougar. You know, like, you take an animal we've never seen before and throw them in the book. So I think that's why something like Komodo is going to work.
Right.
It's Komodo.
Can you explain to everyone who Komodo is? Because I thought that was great.
Komodo is a girl that Kurt Connors registered. She's one of his college students who swiped his lizard formula and thinks she's perfected it. So
they need to lock down those ESU labs a little bit better.
They really do. There's one character called Trauma. I'm not going to say what his deal is, but it's like when I did Arkham Asylum with Ryan Sook.
Right.
We just knew, we were just a few issues in, that Humpty Dumpty was the breakout character.
Right.
That everyone just, and originally, in the original outline, Humpty Dumpty was going to be killed. There was going to be a scene where someone was going to perform a lobotomy on him, and he'd actually have a crack in his skull like an egg.
All right.
And Ryan had put so much love and effort into the visual, and I'd had so much fun with the script, and Ryan's wife, when she saw it, went, "You're not killing Humpty Dumpty." So we started juggling and changing. But I'm getting the same vibe with Stefano Caselli with this one character, Trauma.
All right.
Where I look at Trauma and I go, he's the breakout guy from the Initiative.
And what issue does Trauma show up in? Not that you shouldn't buy all of them.
All the new characters show up at the boot camp at issue 1.
Okay.
You're going to meet all of your main characters. I'm not going to reveal too much, but oh boy, do I love Trauma. If you don't love him by issue 2, I've done something horribly wrong.
Or there's something wrong with you.
No. You're fine just the way you are, and we love you. And that haircut works for your head shape.
All right, well, I want to thank Dan Slott for taking time to talk to us.
Oh, thank you.
She-Hulk, the Initiative,
and
buy them.
Buy them, and dear God, keep checking out Mom's Basement.
There you go.